Hi Natasha, Shelby, how are you this morning? So we're going to start, well actually we'll see where we're going to start. So let's have a look. 100% Natasha. And hold, beautiful. And hold out, lovely. Okay, so what's the biggest priority for this body? Okay, so something electrical to start with. Okay, so throat chakra linked in with a minor chakra on the right ankle. Yeah, right. Which is all about being able, this little chakra is all about being able to visualize your way forward. So when we're stuck in our muck and mire and we can't ever imagine a solution, the brain sort of gets stuck. And if we can't see a solution, then your unconscious brain can't actually help you get there. So, and especially with health things that are stressful and challenging, firstly we just need to connect the two of these. Throat chakra, right ankle. And throat chakra, when you've recently moved, obviously it's about finding new friends and being able to speak to people and feeling safe and comfortable. Okay, so we just needed to connect those two. That's fine. Something else. Okay, we need an essence even to get started with, or a homeopathic? No. 4-3. Flannel flower. Yeah, it's about all that new stuff. It's about dislike of being touched and feeling uncomfortable. So it's about gentleness and sensitivity, trust, openness, expression of feelings, joy and physical activity. When we've been hurt, that's all not so easy. Oh, just one drop. That is funny. Okay. Maybe the nervous system just wants us to get in. Okay, let's have a look. Okay. Okay, now there's a couple of survival layers with those little things in. Yep. Hold. So adrenals are okay. Survival switching's okay. Hold. Hold. Yeah, but it's the deep survival that's raised its head. Okay, so where do we need to go? EMC, MMC, PPSS. Anterior cingulate gyrus. Now I'll just link everything in with, you know, new position, new friends, new job, that sort of thing. So it's anterior cingulate gyrus, which is to do with not feeling perfect when you're under stress. Always new stress moving. Do we need the flannel flower on the body? We do. Okay. Okay, so is it fear of not being seen, fear of not being, your potential not being seen, fear of feeling silly under stress? Okay. Yeah, so your nervous system doesn't want to feel silly under stress, doesn't want to feel like you're failing. Regardless of whether you are or you aren't, your nervous system's worried that you're going to look like you are anyway. And this one, hold out, is the subcolossal gyrus. That's that spectrum of frustration, rage, anger on one end, and depression, inability to think your way out of a situation on the other end, and everything in between. But the brain's wanting to run away. The brain's sick of trying to find solutions. It just wants to go, no, that's it, I've had enough. And hold, beautiful. Nice. Okay, so the reticular activating system, which controls what hormones we release in new situations. It's releasing noradrenaline, so your nervous system is expecting long-term stress, and it's making you, so this little point down here on the foot is kidney 1, and it's about directing and focusing attention. So your nervous system is focused on the things that are going to create stress long term. Funnily enough, it's only showing on the right side, which is the masculine side of your body. So energetically, it's the stuff that is out there. So it's feeling stress about the things that you're worried that other people can see or feel or intuit about you because of, you know, anxiety, stress, all sorts of things in underneath. Yeah, there's nothing going on the left, it's all on the right. Yeah. Cool. Okay. We still need the flannel flower on the body? Yeah, we do. Okay. So where do we need to go next? We need to go into the chakra. Back to that throat chakra again. So something about all that, once again, is jamming the throat. Throat is about speaking your truth. It's about finding your words. It's probably about friendship and that sort of thing as well, because it's so much about finding those people who you can just chat away to and know you're safe and comfortable and everything's good. So there's a combination that goes with the throat chakra, the throat, the hyoid bone. For the dudes, it's the Adam's apple. There's that little bone in there. And the parietals on the side of the head. So that combo. And hold. Okay. And hold. Okay, it's only a first stage stress because it's unlocking. We're tweaking it and then it's locking again. Okay. So that's the amygdala, the pleasure reward centers being switched down. So when you can't speak, when you don't have that best friend person to chat away to, it just shuts down your frontal cortex, which means you just don't feel as happy as you could otherwise. And hold, beautiful. And hold, excellent. Okay. Is there further in the PVSS? Yeah, there is. Okay, I just had to deviate for a minute. Okay, so there's another reticular activating circuit. Okay, now this one is to do with low serotonin levels. Serotonin is calming and nurturing. The reticular activating system switches it down or slows its production because it wants us to be vigilant under stress. And this little point here is about vigilance. So something about the move has created a vigilance in your nervous system. And your nervous system doesn't want you to relax and be happy as easily as it otherwise could, because it's assuming there's going to be some stress there. Okay. There's an old pain and punishment circuit linked in with this. Let me just have a look, see whether it's linked to childhood or whether it's an adult thing. Okay, so this pattern was set up between 6 and 13 years old, 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 to 10, so 9 to 9.5, 9.5 to 10, 9, 6, 9, 7, 9, 8, 9, 9, so around 9 years, 9 months. Okay. And it's a little pattern where, actually, let me see, was it someone female, someone male, yourself, others? Okay, so just generally others. So it was a pattern where you started to believe that it was your responsibility to care for other people. So I don't know whether you shifted schools or houses or where siblings were, if there were any siblings going on, or whether an aged family member might have got a bit sick. But anyway, so something around 9 years, 9 months set up a belief in your system that caring for other people was your responsibility more than caring for yourself. And let's just see if that set up any ego defense mechanisms. Yeah, it did. Yeah, right, okay. Any others? Okay. So two things showing up: minimization as well as repression. So they're two sort of the same thing, where basically your nervous system is primed to suppress your needs for the needs of other people. Because if you convince your nervous system that you're okay, you don't have to think about yourself. Sometimes when we get a big health problem, it's our nervous system saying, hey, look after yourself. Yeah, right. Okay. That was then linked in with your grief gauge being stuck under bargaining. So it's like your nervous system always has these conditional agreements. If you be my friend, then I'll do this for you, or if I'm really nice, maybe they'll like me. So, and once again, we're thinking like a 9-year-old girl who is feeling like everyone has to be in her charge of taking care of and looking after them. So the bargaining conditional agreement, so it's a passive act. Yeah, Nothing specifically is showing up there. That's weird. Let me just double check. Oh. Is it something else? Okay. Well, that area is showing up, but those particular emotions aren't. But the overall idea of the bargaining, so it's adaptation of it's adapting to our stress. It's then we get into these bargaining phases. So if I give up something I really value, I might still stop this change from happening. Or perhaps if I did blah, the relationship could start working again. So it's when our nervous system's trying to find these solutions to things that aren't working as well as we would like in our worlds. And our brain just always wants to try to problem solve, unless we're the sort of person who can just go, oh well, whatever, see you later. But when you're a care factor person, when you're top of your tree emotionally is looking after other people and taking care of them, if they stop being friends with us, part of us believes that it's our fault, so what can we do to fix it? And of course, if we've been hurt because of relationships in the past, then, fear of intimacy. How do you have a best friend if you can't tell them your dark, deepest, most secrets and feel safe and secure doing it? Now we need 4 drops of the flannel flower. Before it was 1, now it's 4. Okay. Now we can put it back. Okay. New dress, this one's cute.
Thank you.
Okay, so where to next? So back to PVSS, so we're still stuck somewhere? Okay. In a correction, so we do another layer. Okay, so ESR, oscillation, chakra, essence, craniotic, is tuning, foot combo. Okay, so what's the first coordinate? So first is sex. So the circulation of the sex organs. Okay, and then liver energy. So sex, liver. Yeah, right, okay. So strawberry cactus, once again, this is about being in the moment when you're in pain and stress and fear and being hurt. So it's getting into that mentality of expecting things to go wrong long term. So strawberry cactus is a desert flower essence. Okay, now it's ready to dissolve. So there's sort of 4 levels of getting rid of emotional gear. So this one's ready to dissolve. Okay, so flower essences. Okay. Okay. So this is making you frustrated because it's the liver energy we need to move, which is internalized frustration and internalized frustration that things just aren't going as well as you would hope. I take responsibility for my attitudes and now choose to kindly, gently, lovingly and supportively dissolve my expectation of things to go wrong and my taking life too seriously, not having fun, into all-encompassing love. I make the commitment to kindly, gently, lovingly and supportively choose to let go of emotions for transmutation to the heart, allowing love and joy to rule. I take responsibility for my attitudes and now choose to kindly, gently, lovingly and supportively dissolve my expectation of things to go wrong, and my taking life too seriously and not having fun into all-encompassing love. I make the commitment to kindly, gently, lovingly and supportively choose to let go of emotions for transmutation to the heart, allowing love and joy to rule. Once again, any more in the PVSS? Now we're back in the PVSS. Okay, let's go have a look. Okay, so the next one's the cerebellar vermis. This is that little area of the brain that tries to connect what's going on in our life with the emotions we're feeling. Sometimes they just don't match. So we might be having a really good day and all of a sudden we start feeling anxious or stressed or depressed, and you think, nothing happened, why am I feeling like that? So this little part of the brain is constantly trying to regulate our emotions so that the two match up. But the problem is, if we're getting anxiety because of something like a health problem that we haven't found that perfect solution to yet, we can have this low level anxiety. The body assumes it's going to be because a tiger's going to attack, but if it's a health problem, then you're still getting all exactly the same emotional gear as if we're about to get eaten. There's fear, threat, danger in there, so there's fear of letting go of the emotion, because once again your body wants to hold on to it to keep you safe. Okay, and that's just drawn in another little anterior cingulate gyrus circuit, which is the one about not feeling perfect under stress. Hold. And because it's such a boys' world that you work in, there's always those expectations that it's fairly challenging too. Yeah, so there's fear of not living up to what other people expect of you as well, or our expectations of what other people expect of us. So sometimes it's not what they actually expect, it's what we think they expect of us, which puts an extra level of complication into that whole emotional circuitry. Okay, there's a part of the brain called the periaqueductal grey matter. Now this area is to do with the physiology of fight and flight. Sorry, GB 14, okay, 21, okay. So this little part of the brain sets up the physiology in the body when we're in fight and flight. So what does it do? Does, some people under stress will get gut problems, some people under stress will get candida, some people under stress will get an infection, like a cold or a flu or a virus, some people will get headaches and migraines. So it's different for everyone. Some people get back pain. So under stress, our bodies all act in whatever is going on. We've all got our own little weaknesses. This makes your body want to run away. Just the physiology of fight and flight kicking in, your body wants to go into escape, submission, freeze. Let's get out of here. Or let's hide under a rock so no one sees us. Yeah, that little area can start raising blood pressure. So under stress, like there's quite often there's no point taking your blood pressure when you're relaxed, but it's not a bad idea to, you know, drop into a chemist every now and again and have your blood pressure done, just so you know, because doctors often look at young people without any particular obvious health issues, and they just don't check things like that, whereas, you know, it's a big issue, blood pressure. So now the sympathetic nervous system's showing up, which switches off our rest and digest systems. So because it's been going on long term, there's the noradrenaline running, so assuming long term stress, but there's a real frustration in there as well. We'll calm those down, and then we'll get into the organs and see which organs are being affected specifically with that physiology of flight and fight within this. Okay. Well, within the circuit, it's only liver showing up. Hold, I'm going back. Perfect. Hold up, I'm going down. Okay. So that's liver not coping with hormones and fats as well as it could. Hold, I'm going back. Hold up, I'm going down. Yeah. And not coping with stress as well as it could. So the major pathways of liver are doing really, really well. The minor pathways are struggling. But what that can mean, like throughout our cycle every month, you know, the estrogen, progesterone, all that jazz, if the estrogen is being released, it goes up into the liver to be broken down, and then it gets released from the body. So what can happen if it's not broken down properly is it goes into the small intestine can't cope with it, goes back up into the liver, comes back down into the small intestine, and that can happen for up to 14 days. The more days we have pain or inflammation or sugar cravings or mood swings or headaches or lower back pain, you know, during that premenstrual part of our cycle, the more the liver is really struggling with it. But the zeolites and Brock shots and that sort of thing are what are going to help to break it down and get it out and open up the pathways so that we're getting less inflamed from those. But I've got, as always, I've got this minus all your supplements. But nonetheless, it's interesting that those two minor pathways, so liver not coping with hormones, liver not coping with stress. So that's a neurolymphatic point for the liver underneath the right side. So anytime we rub underneath the right side, it's helping to increase lymph to and from the liver. Liver meridian, which showed up in our flower essence hologram before. Okay. So now let's just go have a look at the immune system. And hold, 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 hold.
Could I get a towel for my legs, please?
Yes. Oh yeah, you're goosebumpy.
A little bit. Thank you.
Easy. Okay, so with the immune system, I'm just going to keep on asking what the priorities for today are, rather than just starting at the beginning, just to get the most. Okay, let's have a look. Okay.
Okay.
So the first thing showing up is Candida. So once again, we just want to get the body to recognise things better than they currently are.